those hands up and praise him. About enough of all that. Let's take a look around. So this is Sunset Cliff Natural Park, and we're a good 60 or 70 feet above the beach. And just like on St. Croix, the Lord has been sweet to me. This last night that I'm here, this seems to be the coup de grace of all the beaches I've been to. Nicer than Oceanside, nicer than La Jolla. I've been calling it La Jolla like some maniac. Nicer than Coronado Beach. And so, yeah, so this is my second night here. Spent one night Oceanside, one night in the airport, spent one night in La Jolla, 2 nights Coronado, and then it's going to be 2 nights here at Seaside Park Natural Cliffs. And wow, it's been a magnificent trip. You know, just what, a little over a month ago I was in Arizona, and I was just so relieved to get a ticket back to Raleigh, because I had so much to do, and I didn't want to be stuck in Phoenix that much longer, because Phoenix is a lot hotter than this place. Right now this weather is unbelievable, and God willing I want to come back in the winter time, but there's really no winter here to speak of, because when I'm 65 I can get into maybe SeaWorld. I can get into the San Diego Zoo free, and lots and lots of perks. Plus the transportation is a lot cheaper. It's at least half of what I'm spending now for transportation, which is my biggest expense. So look, all praise and glory to God Almighty for making this possible. You know, I had no way of knowing that I was going to be taken care of food-wise, that I was going to be taken care of travel-wise with the voucher. I had no way of knowing anything just 6 weeks ago, if that long, when I was just leaving Phoenix and coming back to Durham. So, you know, it's just the list of things, providential things that went on is overwhelming. You know, just my ability to spend 3 days in Texas, fly from Durham to Texas, solely to gather some stuff, and then to be able to work for 3 days. I had no idea when I went there if I was going to be able to, but I needed to get some stuff anyway, so I went there. God was sweet to me, and so came back. The first, I had to come back to Durham for my Social Security appointment. Now, most people don't go to the Social Security office because you've got 8 million people evidently have some kind of small business where they want to file the Social Security for you. But a small piece of advice, I showed up on the 21st of July, 6 weeks before my 65th birthday, for a 10-minute appointment. And 24 hours later, less than 24 hours later, I was sitting on the tarmac ready to leave Raleigh, and oh yeah, no, that's when I stopped by Texas, and I picked up my paycheck and some other stuff, so I didn't know I was going to have a dime, but I was sitting on the tarmac, and all of a sudden I looked at my bank account, which had 11 cents in it. And less than 24 hours after I left the Social Security office, it had $2,000 in it, which was my deposit for my first Social Security check. And then my flight to San Diego providentially swung through Texas, because whenever I was filling out my information to get paid for those providential 3 days, I must have put down the wrong information. So when I was swinging, it was a layover in Texas, so I went, and sure enough, my paycheck was there, and all I had to do was get it cashed. So look, I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how sweet God has been to me. And not to even mention the long-form birth certificate that the social services in Durham is paying for. So I get that. I'm able to reapply for a passport. And then if I ever do get a passport, the sweet Lord may let me go overseas like I tried to do 2 years ago, probably about this exact same time. It was about this exact same time. But I hope to spend the night right here with these beautiful waves rolling in. Right here in that little opening. Because I spent the night in those hills up there last night, which was fine. I mean, I slept good and everything. And then tomorrow, I've got to get everything packed up. I've got most of my stuff stored in Coronado Beach, just some hills up there. And I've got to go by there, and I've got to get everything packed up, ready to go. It has to be ready to go, because at 1:10 I'm going to be at Petco Park to watch the San Diego Padres baseball game as they take on the New York Mets. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got to leave. I've got to be on the bus back to Coronado to get all my stuff. Then at the airport by 5 o'clock. So, everything is providential. Everything is very, very tight. But if everything goes right, I'll be in the air on my way to Salt Lake City. But there's a layover in Las Vegas. So I'll spend the night in the airport in Las Vegas. Have most of the day to look around briefly, because the plane takes off at 4 in the afternoon. But that'll give me a little bit of time to look around Vegas. I'm not really that excited about Vegas, but unlike 99.9% of the people, I do like layovers, because most of my layovers or my short trips here or there are going to involve being able to see a baseball game, a Major League Baseball game. So it's like I say, the Lord has been so sweet on this trip. And it seems like it's just getting started. Spent a week in St. Croix, San Juan, a week here in San Diego. I may be able to work the first week of August back in Texas, but if not, 3 weeks in Salt Lake, spending a week out in St. Louis, and then flying back, and then back to St. Croix, probably going to do, not St. Croix, but back to San Juan. And this time, instead of doing the little skip, hop, jump to St. Croix, I may go to St. Thomas. So looking into that seriously. And then the big coup de grace of all of it, I fly back on September the 6th, a week before my 65th birthday, and then spend a few days there in Raleigh, and then hop over to Pennsylvania for a 3-day concert where day one you have Jeremy Kent opening up, and then day 3 of this 3-day concert, you got Phil Wickham opening up on the day 3. And beyond that, I don't know. I'm looking at Chicago, maybe catch the Cubs, and go by and see an old friend of mine at the food pantry I worked at back in 2022, at the end of 2022. So lots of stuff going on. We'll see what the Lord has in mind, but very excited, and it's been a very enjoyable trip here to San Diego. So get those hands up and praise Him, hallelujah!